Hi everyone, I'm Dick Beardsley. Welcome to the fishing scene. Hey folks, crappies up shallow, and I mean shallow water. We're in about 1.5 feet of water and we're catching crappies. I'll be back with all the details after this from our sponsors. Hey folks, the shallow water crappie bite is here, and this is one heck of a fun time, no doubt about that. We're up in water in about 1.5 feet at the most. I mean, the water is crystal clear. Hey, we're catching nice crappies too. We're gonna get that one back in the water. We're catching nice crappies here, folks. Water temperature, surface temperature right now, believe it or not, is 68 degrees. Just a few days ago, it was in the low 50s, but that's what a little bit of sun will do, and warmer temperatures. And the key is not having cold temperatures at night. It warms up this shallow water very, very quick. Why are these crappies in here? Well, a couple of reasons. We got kind of a brown, muddy type bottom. We also got some old reeds that are starting to grow up in here, and those crappies are hanging around those reeds, getting bugs off the reeds that are in there. Very, very clear water, very, very shallow. It's very, very warm. You got to take advantage of the bite while you can, because it won't last long. Once that water temperature gets a little bit warmer, once those reeds start coming up, you won't be able to fish this shallow and catch these crappies. Then they get really tough to find. What are we using today? Well, nothing very sophisticated, that's for sure. Again, you know how I like to use these small jigs. We're using a small jig tipped with an artificial type of a mealworm on there. That's it. And again, 1/64 ounce jig. We're not using any float at all, okay, because a lot of times the float is going to scare those fish when you're in this shallow of water. And what we're doing is just casting out there, letting it sink real slow, and then a slow retrieve, and we'll see if we can't get some more crappies here. Just a real slow retrieve. I'm going to actually use my trolling motor now and get me out a little bit where I was getting some of those crappies before. But don't be afraid about fan casting around the area. Anywhere you see some emerging reed beds growing, cast in those areas. And you might pick up yourself a bass. There'll be sunfish in here, but the crappies love this type of cover. And they've been waiting all spring long, like you and I have, for this water to finally warm up and to get these crappies finally coming into these shallow water areas. Okay, again, Polaroid sunglasses, I mention it all the time, but they're very, very important to be able to see the reeds that are growing down there, because they haven't emerged yet up on top, or they're just, oops, just missed one. Oops, no, when that happens, like that one, folks, you see what happened there? I got line wrapped all over I had a fish on there, got up into the weeds, got off, and that jig came flying back. When that happens, you know, put the hard hat on and watch out. Get that back out there. Just, you know, take your time. I get a little excited here when I start seeing these crops up in shallow water, especially this year when it's been such a long time coming. My goodness. But boy, when they move up in these shallow water areas, you can have yourselves an absolute ball. I'm going to step up here so I can see a little bit better and try casting back over into that stuff and see if we can't get ourselves a few more crappies that are sitting right up here in those reeds. Oh, I just had one looking at it. In fact, folks, sometimes the water is so clear, and like it is today, and again with those Polaroid sunglasses, I could actually see that fish come after that bait. Let's see if I can get one here now. I see one. Oh. I got a small little orange jig on there. I'm dancing along. I see one coming after it right now. Looks like a bass. Yeah, it is. It's a bass. There's one. All right, folks. Hey, there's a nice black crappie, huh? There's a nice crappie, huh? If you're looking for some nice eating size crappie right there, look at that little jig. Look at that little jig, folks. Again, we are in about 2 feet of water or less, catching nice crappies. It's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, dead calm. Air temperature is about 75 degrees. Water temperature, the surface here is about 68 degrees. So the water has really warmed up just in the last few days, and we're just pitching these little jigs right out there in that warm water. Oh, and they are just, this is when it's really fun. There, oh, I just missed a nice one. I seen him come right after. We're going to get back in there. And folks, when you're out here, take advantage of this bite while you can, because it won't last very long. Once we get into the, middle part of June, those just missed another one. Those crappies get real tough to find because they start hanging out. They start going out in the deeper water. They will move up into some of the shallow water areas when towards evening and stuff. But they're a lot harder to find than they are when they start moving up into the shallow water this time of the year. Hey folks, just about any lake that holds crappies, if you can find shallow areas this time of the year that have these emergent reeds, in fact a lot of the lakes already have the reeds starting to come up, I guarantee you, you're going to find crappies hanging around in there. Not only crappies, but you'll find sunnies, you'll find largemouth bass, you'll find a little bit of everything. Just kind of fan cast around the area. And you can use a float. Oh, just missed one. You can use a float if you'd like, but I don't know, I prefer just pitching out in this with a small jig. Now what I did was here, folks, I put on a pink jig. Sometimes pink is really a good color. I did not put on an artificial lure this time, or I shouldn't say artificial lure, a fake waxworm on there. I thought, well, let's just see what happens without one. We'll see if we can get any fish with just that plain old little nipper jig on there. I gotta go looking a little bit here. I'm gonna walk to the front of the boat here, folks. So obviously be very careful when you're doing this. I'm in very shallow water. There's no wind today. So otherwise I sure wouldn't be doing this on a windy day or in deep water without my life jacket on. Oh, just kind of casting these. I'm going to get up here even a little bit more because I can see some fish. Again, we're kind of whipping that jig out there. You don't want to get too close to them. Otherwise, in this clear water, they're going to spook pretty easy. Rock bass. Hey folks, there you go. You want a few rock bass thrown in the side? Or also known as red eye, as you can see by their red eyes there. Kind of a pretty fish, but boy, they got sticklers on their dorsal fins. Watch out for those. They are fun to catch, and I tell you, a lot of people don't like eating them, but you throw them in with a pan of crappies, I'll guarantee you'll never know the difference. They're all flayed out. Just working through those reeds. You will get hung up on those reeds once in a while. I'm seeing fish down here, but I just can't seem to. There's a little crappie. Little crappie, huh? Well, I guess he's not that bad. Whoops. Hey, that's easy catch and release. Get him up to the side of the boat like that, and boy, you know what? I tell you what, folks, they're not hitting it real hard. When we first got here, they were whapping it pretty good, and all of a sudden, they're not hitting it quite as hard as they did before. All right. Hey, folks. I mean, you talk about sight fishing. Holy cow. Look at that nice slab or black crappie, huh? Man, I basically saw him down there, folks, dropped my jig right down there, and boom, he smacked her good. You know, a cane pole would work great. When I was a kid, this is the time of year when we'd be out there, my dad and I, and we'd be out there catching slab crappies just like this with a cane pole and poking those cane poles right in those spots where those fish are sitting. That's what we did this time here. Let me get this one back in the water. And folks, let me, show you a few things about, there's multitudes of different colors that a person can use when you're doing any kind of fishing, but crappie fishing especially. And now let me just get you my little jig box of Lindy little nipper crappie jigs here. And as you can see, I've got an array of multicolored jigs. I've got pink, I've got orange, I've got chartreuse, I've got a mixture of orange and yellow, pink and white. You name it, I got about every kind of colored jig you can imagine. And sometimes that's what it takes, is a little bit different colored jig every once in a while to get those fish really going. Now, most of these jigs here are such that you can't fish real deep with them because they're not very heavy jigs. But for water down to about 12 feet, they work really well. And then again, the water we're fishing in today is only about 1.5 feet, 2 feet deep at the most. So we're using really, really small jigs, 1/64 ounce, and just letting them wing out there. And you know what? As long as we've got some jigs here. We've been catching them on some orange and white with a white head. We've caught them on pink and white. Let's just try something here. Let's take this pink one off. Take off my artificial bait here. And we're going to put on let's try a chartreuse. Chartreuse is another one that can really be a good color. We'll put this one back. Let's see where I found him. There he goes. And we'll see if we can't find... there's one right here. It's kind of a white head with a chartreuse and white body on there. And we'll just open up that eye on there. Sometimes they get painted shut when they come from the factory. And again, you want to, when you're fishing these crappies, you want to tie it direct right to your line. And no leader at all, no snaps. Your eyes are going bad on me, I guess. There we go. And I like to do the improved clinch knot. It's about 6 times around your finger, and then that loop you make through your right finger, back through it, pull it tight, clip off the end. We're ready to go. Let's put a little bit of a artificial Beardsley power bait waxworm back on there, and let's see what happens, huh? Now we'll see if we can get out here and see any more fish down there. I don't see any right at this moment, but that last one we got, yeah, we just snuck right in there and got him sitting right in that shallow water, dropped it right in front of him, and bang, he smacked it good. So we'll kind of move around in here until we find some more fish. I got one right behind me here, folks. Let's see if we can do the same thing with this one. Well, that one's not too interesting, I think, because the boat went right over the top of him there. See, he's coming out this other side, though. Yeah, the boat drifted right over the top of him. He's not too scared, though. I see another one floating out here a little bit. We'll see if we can't. Now, sometimes color can make a huge difference. Okay, now I'm seeing some fish down here in these emerging weeds that we got going down here. Oh, I just had one, folks. I just had one grab onto it, and the beards missed him. We'll get back out here again. All right, we'll just flip those jigs out. You don't have to cast real far. And you want to be far enough away so you're not right on top of them, and just work those jigs, right through there, right through those weeds. Yeah, sometimes they're going to come and take a look at it. Other times they're going to, and then turn back away. Other times they're going to really come over and just whap right onto it. It just kind of depends on the mood they're in. I just had one come right away. He's kind of, there he is. A little sunny. He came right up on top of the surface and grabbed that one. Well, these sunfish are enjoying the shallow water warmth here. There's an eater fish there if you're looking for some eating size fish. Not a bad sunny at all for if you're looking to eat a few. Okay, we're going to get back out there. And again, you just want to move around, keep those fish, you know, those, oh, I just had one just kind of latch onto it there. Oh, we got a little bit of it. There we go. You got to always check that bail with that light line on those light jigs. If you get that little loop in there, it's going to create you a lot of trouble. We'll be back with more fishing after this. Oh, that was a nice one. Missed that one. He was a nice one though. Nice crop. There we go. All right, there's a nice slabber. Oh yeah, how about that one, folks, huh? There's a beauty. Look at that big black one, huh? Nice crappie. And I tell you what, folks, we're not doing anything fancy. We're basically sight fishing on these fish. You can do that in some areas on clear water. They're going to be, whoops, they're going to be a little bit spooky sometimes, but boy, we just swam that one right by him, and he came out of those weeds and just really cracked her good. We're going to get him back in the water, though. Get my pliers out of here. He really hooked that one good. We want to get a big fish like that back in the water. These bigger fish like that aren't that good to eat anyhow. You get a nice fish like that back in the water. Let them swim another day and maybe get even bigger, huh? Now that was fun. That is some nice crappie. That's a nice crappie there. Okay, again, folks, we're basically sight fishing here. The fish are a little bit spooky, so you can't be like right on top of them. But if you can haul that jig, that real light jig, real close to where they're at, and work it right in front of them, kind of make it dance a little bit, they're going to turn on it. You can put a little minnow on there if you'd like to add a little incentive, maybe a little piece of live bait like a piece of worm or a wax worm, artificial. Right now we're just using a plain little nipper jig here with nothing on it, and if you can dance it in front of their face, even when they're in a negative mood, they're going to take a whack at that thing. There's one. There we go. All right. Good little scrapper there, huh? Yeah, hey, there we go, folks, huh? Nice crappie. Yeah, hey, folks, we're sight fishing for crappies. It's not quite June yet, but boy, we're having a ball. They're up in shallow water, 1.5 feet, 2 feet at the most, using real small jigs, 1/64th ounce jigs, and just letting them float real slow down amongst those emerging reeds. And hey, you're going to have a ball catching crappies just like this. And please remember to practice selective harvesting. By doing so, we'll continue to have great fishing for years to come. I'm Dick Beardsley. Thanks for joining me today on the fishing scene. I'll see you out on the water.